Hello, this is Wmpyr. I am watching a Wing Chun training clip on Twitter. And anyway, I just want to share my thoughts. Okay, what I really want to share my thoughts of is not to it's not my criticism on Wing Chun. It just so happens to be I'm looking at Wing Chun right here. It could be any style. My feelings will be the same. And I want to share these feelings with you because it reveals how I think. And I feel like the way it's not me, but this method of thinking, I feel is extremely valuable because it's helped me a lot, and I think it could help out a lot of people. So when I'm looking at this, um, it's normal for anyone to critique it and go, how would I use this in a real life situation? How would it be used? How would it be used against me? How would I defend against it? How effective would it be against somebody? Blah 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 blah. All these things is normal in martial arts. You're supposed to think. If you don't, it's not good. You have to think. And it has to you have to get it to where it starts to make sense to you. And then unfortunately people at that level where they think and they work at it and they get it to where it makes sense, they get it to where they're satisfied, and then ego kicks in, and then they think they're right and everybody else is wrong. They think they have the answer and other people don't. And that's just ego. And they really, what they are doing is they're confusing opinions with facts. And you want to stay away from facts in martial arts. You just keep it with your opinion. That's the best advice I could give you. Just say, this is my opinion. It's not factual. Keep saying that to yourself. This is my opinion. This is not factual. Okay. Um, that to me is very, very important. Anyway, so I'm not making that kind of view. I don't want to dwell there. More important than that viewpoint where you're looking at this from a technical standpoint, right? What governs this viewpoint is where I look at it and see potential. That's what's important. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that. When they look at a martial arts style, they don't look at its potential. They critique it. And then they turn into bitching and moaning, and it sounds pretty horrible to me, where people are like, this style sucks. This technique would never work. It would get you killed. And it's just a bunch of bitching and moaning. And I think it's really sad. It's like, you should look at yourself in the mirror. You look very, very pathetic. And they go, no, 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 no. I am right. I am voicing my opinion. I am standing up against people teaching stuff that will get other people killed. So I am saving lives. And man, human beings we are so righteous, man. Oh my goodness. We are experts at justification. So we justify, in that case, you're justifying your bitching and you're complaining and acting like a baby, acting childish. You're justifying that, saying, "No, I'm fighting against false information and this and that." Is really, really sad. It's really sad. We need to stop this. Get off your high horse and stop being an attention whore. You know, and what that is not what martial arts is about. It's not about one person, um, barking. And unfortunately, on social media, everyone goes to the loudest bark. And if it sounds convincing enough, everybody's now on the bandwagon. And that's how social media works, and it's unfortunate. We need to move away from that. It's really, really bad. Not good for society. So, what I'm recommending here is, this viewpoint where I look at Wing Chun, praying mantis style, Tai Chi, Sistema, boxing, sambo. It doesn't matter the style. Sumo wrestling. I don't care the style. I look at it and I look at the potential. Why? Because martial arts is about evolving. You have to evolve it. I don't care what style it is, whether it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, kickboxing, or, some African martial art I've never heard of, or Kalari, Taekwondo. It doesn't matter. You have to evolve it, you know? And it could be even a totally fake style, some made up style. Um, the grandmaster could be a con artist. I don't care. If you evolve it, and if you evolve it well, it becomes real. It becomes useful. It becomes beneficial. That's the truth, guys. It really is. So the nonsense which lies in the marketing is about people saying, no, you want to study a good style, don't study a bad style. That's marketing. Because the truth is, you could study what everyone says is the best style in the world, and you could still get annihilated on the street. You could still be terrible at whatever it is you're trying to do. Therefore, it has nothing to do with that. It's about you. How good of a student are you? And how good are you able to make it work for you? So that's where the evolution part comes in. It's not about how good your teacher is, how good your classmates are, or how good the reputation of your school is. It's not about that. The only thing I would say about all that is find a good learning environment, which means a good teacher, as in the teacher has to be nice and respectable, because you want to grow. So the teacher has to be nurturing. And same with the other classmates. They need to be helpful. So if this is a cult environment, then it's not a good learning environment. So this is no. And if you thrive in that environment, which people can, that's the truth, unfortunately. You go to a cult and you feel like you're doing yourself a lot of good, and that's why cults exist. But in the long run, it's not healthy and it's not a good thing, and they will rip you off. They're scams. So you got to avoid places like that. And then there's abusive places too. So none of those are good environments. You want a good learning environment. That is what I place. The most important thing is not how many trophies they have, or it's not how solid the instructor is with his skills or her skills, or none of that. None of a good positive learning environment, because it's about you evolving. That's what it comes down to, is evolution. And you see, this is one thing I've learned on YouTube, is I'm trying to soften my voice, and I will try not to lecture hardcore. So I'll try to speak softly, because if someone is yelling at me, and I've seen this, I've seen it on YouTube too, where the instructor's yelling. To me, that's not a good learning environment. So we want to evolve. And a good thing, the way to see this is, evolve means doesn't make it better. It means make it work for the new environment, right? So like if we compare a dinosaur with us, who's better? The dinosaur or us? You know, put me in a cage with a raptor, a velociraptor, I would get killed, right? So, but then does that make the dinosaur superior? You know, but then I could drive a car. I could outrun the dinosaur in a car. So then am I better? So it's you can't say, but what we can say is when the dinosaurs existed, when they're roaming around at that time, they were dominant, and that environment worked for them. And then in today's environment, we're kind of the kings here. So at least we think we are. and it works for us. So the environment, it's about adapting to the environment, right? So that's what evolution means. So When I say I evolved Escrima, it sounds like I'm saying the original Escrima wasn't good enough. No, no, not at all. Not at all. It means I made it work for me. In me, a new person, and me, my personal environment, my life, which is different from yours. So that is what's important is the evolution. Um, so you take a look at like someone like Van Gogh, or Picasso, Pablo Picasso. You look at their artwork. Everyone will look at like Picasso's like his artwork at the end, and they go, "Wow, that looks crazy. This is supposed to be really really good." It looks like a 6-year-old drew it. But if you watch his other works and you see them in order of how he evolved, you see how he got there. If the dude wanted to draw photorealistic, he can. Yet he ended up drawing like that. That's for a lot of people, it's a mystery. You just look at it and go, "Why? What the hell is that?" For a lot of it, we don't understand. We're not at his level. We will never understand his level. But if you look at his previous artwork, you kind of sort of get to see. Of course, I mean that's a master at work, but we kind of get to see. So it's very very fascinating and interesting. But it's for him. He's the person that gets it. The most. And this is the same thing for us. So for me to look at a Wing Chun person training, and I am right now, and judge this person is ridiculous. I don't understand his work. Only he truly understands his own path, his own evolution, his own work. And I hope he gets, better or whatever. I'm just seeing a fraction of it. And who knows, in the future, he might, become an amazing contributor of Wing Chun back to society. I don't know. Or maybe, like most people, he'll just end up at the low levels of Wing Chun and that's it. Like most people. But whatever the case, you don't have to become a legend, right? Because that's only for the small percentage of the population. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone can become a legendary Yip Man or Bruce Lee or whatever. So what is important is that you evolve it and make it work for you at your level, whatever the hell it is you're trying to do. Whether it's for health or philosophy, or it was extremely fun, or you wanted to learn culture or whatever. And then because you got super into Wing Chun and you actually visited Hong Kong, that's awesome, dude. That's great. So whatever the case, make it work for you, just as long as you don't start confusing that with, yeah, I'm a Wing Chun badass. If anyone messed with me, I would fuck them up. They'd be lucky if I didn't kill them or this is dangerous, this kind of thinking. So we need to move away from that and separate that. Um, you got to separate yourself from the fantasy thinking because we all have it, we all do it. Um, so the reason why I brought up the Pablo Picasso and the Van Gogh is because it's really martial arts should be like the way they did it, where you are working on your craft. You just work at it, and it takes you in a direction, and you keep going in, you know, on that path, whatever discoveries you make, and just keep going and evolving and fine tuning your craft and making it better and better and improving it. And better is objective. That's your definition. Maybe I don't think it's better. Like if I looked at Picasso's work at the end and you look at his photorealistic work in the beginning, you might go, well, it looks like he downgraded. But I don't think so, because a lot of experts say it's not. I don't think he went emotionally crazy and then he just lost it and lost all his skills and ended up like that. I don't think so. I do, although my dad said this, that you do need to tap into crazy to get to that level. So I don't think it's he lost it and went there. I do believe that he uh, channeled it and got there, which is completely different. He he did that through skill. You know what I mean? So anyway, um, it's not that he broke down and lost it, which is different. Um, so anyway, yeah, in the martial arts, I believe that is what we're looking for is work on your craft. There's way too much going on today where people are judging each other, people are being super critical of each other, and then people are being super egotistical where they think they know best. They know, they speak for everyone and everyone should listen to them. It's horrible, absolutely horrible way of thinking. We don't need more dictators. So yeah, please try to implement this new way of thinking. That I'm introducing to you guys, where you look at an art and you go, okay, that's just the start. How can it evolve into something for me? You know, and of course, in the beginning, you do exactly the way they tell you, and as much as you can, and do that. Just like Picasso in the beginning was doing photorealistic, exactly the way it looks, and that's fine. Mimic and do that in the beginning, but at some point, make it your own. That is the probably one of the greatest messages taught to me in Filipino martial arts from my instructor's instructor, Professor Remy Presas, who said, make it your own. So that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.